Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap and welcome to another important revision session. And my dear friends, as you all know that we have started and come up with a new series of revising the most important current affairs from the exam point of view. And today we are into the day of reports in which we will be revising the most important reports which were released in the month of January 2025. Okay, so welcome back to this revision series, and today we will be covering the reports and indices. If I am audible and visible to all of you, please give me a thumbs up in the chat box so that we can start with the today's session. So very good evening, Nitya, Gururaj, Mukund, and all other people who have joined us live today in this session. So my dear friends, let me tell you that in these revision sessions, we are going to revise the most important reports from the month of January 2025. Okay, till now we have taken some more sessions, like we have taken already the government scheme session and the current tab session, in which we have covered the government schemes, and after that we covered the current tab, which included your GA, GA plus ESI, GA plus finance sections, right? And today we will be covering the reports part. So I'm getting the responses from the student that yes, everything is fine and I'm audible and visible. That means that yes, we are good to go with the today's session. So very good evening again to all the people. Sagar, Pallavi, happy. I hope that you are really preparing well for your upcoming examinations, right? And these current affairs are really very important if you are someone who is still yet to start his current affair preparation. So let me tell you that it is really a very good time for you to start with your current affairs preparation. ठीक है सो गाइस बढ़ते हैं अपने सेशन की तरफ सो इफ यू आर स्टिल न्यू टू यूट्यूब चैनल काइंडली सब्सक्राइब टू इट एंड प्रेस द बेल आइकन टू रिसीव ऑल द लेटेस्ट अपडेट्स ऑफ द courses and videos offered by us. And apart from that, if you want to basically revise this particular session with the help of PDF, for that you will require the access to the Telegram channel, right? And what you can do, you can just join our Telegram channel from the link given in the description of this particular session. Okay, guys. So let's start with the today's session, and this session is going to be in the form of multiple choice questions because in the exam at the end of the day we are required to solve the MCQs, and that is why we will be revising all the important parts with the help of MCQs only. Okay. So here's the very first report for all of you from the month of January 2025. That is the UDISC report. That is Unified District Information System for Education report, which basically tells us about the status of education in our country. Okay, so this report was released in the month of January 2025. You are required to consider the given statements about this particular report, and you have to tell me that which of the following statements are correct with respect to the UDISA report. So, my dear friends, whenever we cover any report, there are some certain dimensions that we are required to remember from there. For example, the releasing body, about part of the report, that is the different parameters which are being used. Some sub indicators are there. Then we have to cover the important rankings, key findings, and the recommendations of the report. So here you can see that multiple dimensions are being collaborated into this particular single question, so that you can also analyze yourself that if there is a question on the different dimensions of the report, then whether you will be able to answer that part or not. So here is the very first statement which says UDIC was launched in 2012-13 as it integrates information system for both elementary and the secondary education. Second statement, from 23-24, school ecosystem was reclassified, and this was reclassified into four different categories. तो वो क्या categories हैं हम इनको आगे आने वाले time में cover करेंगे. Then the Department of School Education Literacy, guys, I told you the dimension that is a releasing body. So which organization has released this report? That is the DOSCL, that is Department of School Education and Literacy. So guys, as I can see in the chat box, most of the people are opting for option D, and yes, option D is the right answer to this question. So when we talk about the different categories in which this school ecosystem has been reclassified, it includes your basically foundational level, preparatory level, middle level, and the secondary level. Okay? So foundational, preparatory, middle, and secondary level. So these are the four levels which are there, and this has been done under the recommendations of the National Education Policy 2020. Now, I would like to ask you one more important question. Can anybody tell me who was the chairperson of that committee which came up with the National Education Policy 2020? Any guesses from you guys? Please quickly tell me in the chat box. I am asking you the name of person who was the head of the committee which come up with the National Education Policy 2020. So what is the name of that person? Yes, Dr. K. Kasuri Ranjan is the right answer. So, guys, this is something that you should always remember from the exam point of view. Okay, so I hope that yes, everybody's clear with that. Now let's try to move on to the next question. So, question number two from the same report. According to the Aadhaar seeding among enrolled students data, the highest percentage of Aadhaar seeding is in which one of the following places? You can see in the chat box, sorry, you can see in the options of this particular questions that the name of place has been given, right? So you have to tell me two important parts. See, we always tell you that whenever there is an extreme situation like highest, lowest, longest, so we are required to cover such kind of data. Similarly, in this part, you can see that Aadhaar shading is being discussed, but you have to tell me this Aadhaar shading of the students has been done where it is highest and where this percentage is lowest in our country. So where it is highest in Andaman Nicobar Islands at 99% and it is lowest in Meghalaya that is at 24.18%. Yes, we all know that we get Aadhaar number, right? तो आधार नंबर हमें मिलता है और जो स्टूडेंट्स एनरोल्ड हैं हमारे स्कूल इकोसिस्टम के अंदर उनको भी उनकी भी आधार सीडिंग की जाती है, right? And you can see here when we talk about this Aadhaar seeding on an average, when we talk about at a national level, the national level average is 79.4% are important data for you to remember, right? Apart from that, when we talk about the highest, Aadhaar seeding was highest in which place? Andaman Nicobar Islands, followed by Lakshadweep and Andhra Pradesh. And when we talk about the lowest, then it was Meghalaya where it was the lowest. And I can see in the chat box, oh, happy Gururaj, Nitya, Aditya, Sagar, Missy, Kshitij. All the people have given me the right answer to this question. That is option C. Guys, let me tell you, there is one more request to all of you. What you have to do is take a blank paper and just mark your answers there. And also make sure that you are marking whether you have answered the question correctly or incorrectly because your final score is going to be a kind of wake up call for all of you. It might boost your confidence if you have answered the most of the questions correctly, and if you have not answered the questions correctly, then it is going to be a wake up call that yes, now I'm really required to focus more on the current affairs. It is a good time to start with our current affairs preparation, right? And what are the important details that I am missing when I am preparing for the reports? Because reports are really important from the exam point of view. Okay. So this is something that you have to make sure that you are tracking yourself with the help of this session. That's how these sessions are going to be productive for all of you. Okay. Now, my dear friends, as we are talking about the Aadhaar CD, can anybody tell me that what is the number of digits in the Aadhaar card that we receive? How many digits are there in the Aadhaar card? Anybody? So we also see recently the new CEO of the Unique Identification Authority of India, which issues the Aadhaar card. So these two questions you have to answer me. When we talk about the number of digits in the Aadhaar card, these are 12. And when we talk about the new CEO of the Unique Identification Authority of India, this is a homework for you. You have to tell me the right answer to that part in the chat box. ठीक है? Chat box में comment section में आपको मुझे बताना होगा what is the new CEO of Unique Identification Authority of India. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. Next question is on the gross enrollment ratio, guys. Gross enrollment ratio क्या होती है? Basically, the number of people who have enrolled to the total number of people who are eligible and who are in that particular age group in the population, right? So this is the gross enrollment ratio. So we are talking in this question about the gross enrollment ratio in the schools. So you have to tell me here which of the following statements are incorrect. कौन से statement incorrect है? See, सबसे पहले question में हमें identify करना है question की demand क्या है. It is asking you to identify correct statement, incorrect statement, right? Or what exactly it is asking you to identify. So this is something we have to focus as the very first part. Now, when we talk about the statements, so school enrollment in India decreased by 37 lakhs, including a drop of 16 lakh girl students and 21 lakh boy students. Next part, Bihar has recorded the sharpest drop. Guys, किसने sharpest drop record किया है? बिहार ने. In enrollment since 2018-19, followed by Uttar Pradesh. Then the maximum GER is recorded in the preparatory level with a value of 96.5. So we have to basically analyze these three statements as per the UDA report and we have to answer this question. So first statement is about the school enrollment, second is about Bihar, third is about maximum gross enrollment ratio. So what is the right answer? You are required to identify the incorrect statement. People are saying option E is the right answer, and yes, absolutely right, option E is the right answer. And I have also received the responses from different students about the CEO of Unique Identification Authority of India. I can see here that Unique, Aditya, Happy, and Missy have given me the right answer. That is Bhuvnesh Kumar. That is the right answer. Guys, this shows that yes, your preparation is in the right direction, and what you are required to do is you are just required to keep up with the momentum of your preparation. Okay? So that shows your dedication and effort in your current affairs preparation. Now let's try to answer correctly the other questions as well that I'm going to ask you in this session. And the next question is about the pupil teacher ratio, right? So, according to the National Education Policy 2020, the recommended pupil teacher ratio for effective interactive learning is dash, and the state UTs with the highest students per school maintaining PTR within the Right to Education Act norms are dash. So, guys, basically, this question is asking you to identify two parts. First one is what is the pupil to teacher ratio as per the recommendation of National Education Policy, right? So, pupil to teacher ratio क्या है? For a definite number of students, how many teachers we are there, or we can say that per teacher, how many students are studying in a particular school. ठीक है? For example, आप देखते हैं कि when you were in the 10th standard, there were 50 students in one class, right? And one teacher is teaching those 50 students. So that pupil to teacher ratio is 50 is to 1. I hope that now you are really able to identify and grasp the concept of the pupil to teacher ratio. So first thing is that what exactly is the PTR ratio as per the national education policy. Next part is that which of the places, or we can say which of the states and UTs are on the top in terms of PTR, which are maintaining the highest PTR as per the Right to Education Act norms. So I can see in the chat box people are saying option B that yes, 30 is to 1 is the right answer. That is a PTR ratio which has been recommended by the National Education Policy, and Chandigarh and Delhi are the places which are maintaining the highest students per school maintaining PTR within Right to Education Act norms. ऑप्शन बी इज द राइट आंसर. तो जस्ट द स्टूडेंट ने ऑप्शन बी को मार्क किया था राइट आंसर. गैस आप अपने पेपर पे +1 मार्क कीजिए. यस, यू हैव गॉट द +1 मार्क इन दिस पर्टिकुलर सेशन फॉर दिस क्वेश्चन. बढ़ते हैं अगले क्वेश्चन की तरफ. बट बिफोर मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन गाइस, इफ देयर इज समवन who is not covered this report in a detailed manner, let me tell you that I have already taken a detailed session on the UDISC plus report, जहां पर इस रिपोर्ट को एकदम कंप्लीटली हमने कवर किया था, एनालाइज किया था और सारे इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स को डिस्कस किया था. तो अगर आपने उस सेशन को अटेंड नहीं किया था तो आप इस लिंक पर, जब आपको पीडीएफ मिलेगा, आप इस लिंक पर जाइएगा और डेफिनेटली इट विल टेक यू टू द यूट्यूब सेशन where we have discussed the UDIC plus report in a detailed manner. Okay, बढ़ते हैं अगले क्वेश्चन की तरफ. This report is on the logistic ease across different states. So this is a report which has been launched by the Niti Aayog. We all know, sorry, it is not launched by Niti Aayog, guys. You have to tell me. So when we talk about the logistic ease across different states, it basically tells us about the logistic performance of the Indian states and UTs. And as a part of this particular report, these states and UTs are evaluated across four key pillars. And you have to now go through these statements and try to identify the right answer to this question. So, guys, here are the three statements on the logistic ease across different states. You have to identify which of the following statements are correct here. First statement, it evaluates logistic performance across the four key pillars, including sustainable logistics, which has newly introduced in 2024. It categorizes states and UTs as achievers, aspirers, or the fast movers based on the logistic performance under the LEADS framework. Only 13 states and UTs have secured the top rank as fast movers under the LEADS framework. Okay, so my dear friends, you have to identify which of the following statements are correct here. People are saying option D is the right answer. That is 1D and 1, 2, and 3. But guys, let me tell you that when we talk about this report definitely categorizes the states and UTs into the three different groups, that is achiever, aspirer, and the fast mover. Fast mover is the lowest performer, then aspirer and the achiever. So when we talk about this particular report, guys, the 13 states and UTs have secured top rank. So they will not be in the fast mover, but they will be in the achievers category or the aspires category. So that's why option statement number 3 is incorrect here. And the right answer will be option A, that is 1 and 2. So option A is the right answer. Absolutely right, Sagar, Aditya, Kshitij, happy you have given me the right answer. So these 13 states and UTs are in the achievers category and not the fast movers category. Okay, that is the right part. So when we talk about the different states and UTs, guys, you can see here definitely the performance of the different states and union territories. So basically, these states and UTs are categorized into three categories, that is achiever, fast mover, and aspirer. But apart from that, on the basis of their geographical presentation and geographical location in our country, they are again categorized into four different categories, which includes coastal, landlocked, northeastern, and the union territories. तो यूटीज में आप देखेंगे चंडीगढ़ एंड दिल्ली आर ऑन द टॉप. नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न में असम एंड अरुणाचल प्रदेश आर इन द अचीवर्स कैटेगरी. लैंडलॉक्ड स्टेट्स की बात करते हैं तो इट इंक्लूड्स हरियाणा, तेलंगाना, यूपी एंड उत्तराखंड विच आर in the achievers category. Then among the coastal states, it includes Gujarat, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Odisha, and Tamil Nadu. These are in the coastal part and they are in the achievers category. I can see here Sagar, Aditya, and Kshitij have given me the right answer to this question. So, my dear friends, you can see here that this report is basically released by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. I did categorize the states into three categories. We have already covered that when we talk about the four key pillars. कि हमने बात की थी कि चार की पिलर्स हैं जिसमें स्टेट्स एंड यूटीज को जिसकी हेल्प से यहां असेस किया जाता है, इवेल्युएट किया जाता है अंडर द लॉजिस्टिक इज अक्रॉस डिफरेंट स्टेट्स. एंड दीज पिलर्स इंक्लूड लॉजिस्टिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, लॉजिस्टिक सर्विसेज, ऑपरेटिंग एंड रेगुलेटरी एनवायरनमेंट एंड सस्टेनेबल लॉजिस्टिक्स. तो ये चार की पिलर्स हैं जिसके अक्रॉस इन स्टेट्स और यूटीज को इवेल्युएट किया जाता है बाय द लीड्स रिपोर्ट. एंड दिस लीड्स रिपोर्ट इज बेसिकली लॉन्च्ड ऑन द लाइंस ऑफ लॉजिस्टिक परफॉर्मेंस इंडेक्स ऑफ द वर्ल्ड बैंक. तो लेट मी टेल यू, हमने इस पूरी रिपोर्ट को बहुत डिटेल में डिस्कस किया था ड्यूरिंग आवर सीटी 363 सेशन. इफ यू हैव नॉट वॉच दैट पर्टिकुलर सेशन, यू कैन जस्ट क्लिक ऑन दिस लिंक टू access all the important details and to understand this report in a more better manner with the help of that session. Because this session is a revision session, so we won't be covering all the aspects of the report in this session. But yes, all the important points that we need to remember, we have already covered in this session. Now let's move on to the next question, guys. Next question is on the World Economic Situation and Prospects 2025 report. As the name says, this report basically tells us about the economic situation which is happening across the world, which is taking place across the world. It analyzes it and it provides us with the prospects, that is the forecast of the GDP growth forecast for the different countries and at the world level as well as at the individual country level as well. So whenever you find such kind of reports, what you have to do, you have to basically cover that what is the GDP growth forecast for at the world level and what is the GDP growth forecast for India. Okay, so here basically we need to identify the statements which are correct here. First statement is Indian economy is projected to grow at 6.6% in 2025 and 6.7% in 2026. The world economy is projected to grow by 2.8% and 2.9% in 2025 and 26 respectively. And the report was released by World Economic Forum along with the IMF and the World Bank. So these are the three statements. I told you that whenever you are covering any report, please try to cover. The very first thing is the releasing body, which is the very easiest of the dimension. And sometimes you also see the question on the releasing body of the report as well. So which of the following statements are correct here? So yes, option A is the right answer. Statement 1 and 2 are correct as the releasing body of this report is not mentioned correctly here. Why so? Because it mentions World Economic Forum along with the IMF and World Bank, but no. This report is released by United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs along with the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development and the 5 United Nations regional commissions. So my dear friends, let me tell you that in the past, in the previous year questions, we have seen that whenever they are asking about this organization which has released this report, sometimes they also ask you that who is the head of this organization which has released this report. So as a part of this part, I am going to ask you that who is presently serving as the Secretary General of United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. If I talk about the UNCTAD, it is headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, right? And you have to tell me here who is presently serving as the head of the Secretary General of UNCTAD. That is United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. So जल्दी जल्दी बताइए मुझे चैट बॉक्स के अंदर. तो काफी इजी क्वेश्चन, एक हलवा क्वेश्चन आप सभी के लिए. I want all of you to answer me the right answer here. So guys, whenever we are covering any organization, the first thing that we cover is who is the head of that organization. So when we talk about United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, the Secretary General of this organization is Rebecca Greenspan. Rebecca Greenspan is the right answer, and Aditya has given me the right answer to this question. Well done, Aditya Gururaj, who have given me the right answer to this question. So this shows that yes, to what detail you are covering and you are preparing from your exam point of view, guys. This is the requirement of the exam. that we should cover it in such kind of depth level so that we are not able to get confused during the examination and get shocked during the examination जब हम ऐसे क्वेश्चन देखते हैं एग्जाम के अंदर. इवन इन द लास्ट ईयर आरबी ग्रेड बी ऑफिसर एग्जाम हमने एक ऐसा क्वेश्चन देखा था, ठीक है, जहां पर रिपोर्ट के डायरेक्टर का नाम पूछा था. सो वी हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट यस वी आर कवरिंग दीज काइंड ऑफ डिटेल्स वेरी accordingly. Okay, so yes, this is the right answer. बढ़ते हैं next question की तरफ, but before that it is very important for us to cover the important growth forecast. तो यहाँ पर हम जल्दी से देख लेते हैं कि अगर हम वर्ल्ड लेवल की बात की जाए तो in 2025 and 2026 the GDP growth forecast at the world level will be 2.8 and 2.9%. And when we talk about the India, for India, this GDP growth forecast for 2025 and 2026 is going to be 6.6% and 6.7% respectively. So it is very, very important for us. But let me tell you another important point. My dear friends, we are only required to cover these GDP growth forecasts from the exam point of view, which are the latest one. Let me tell you that if this report is been released just before the examination again, then we have to remember that data. Okay. Right now, this is the latest report in this part. So that's why we are covering this data. So very important part, whenever we are covering any data, it should be the latest data as per that report. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question, which is on the report which was released recently, that is 400 million dreams examining volume and directions of domestic migration in India for 23-24. 400 million dreams examining volume and directions of domestic migration. So this report basically tells us about the number of domestic migrants in our country, what is the migration rate, how many people are going from one place to another, migrating from one place to another, and we have to assess and retain this data from the examination point of view from this report. So we are required to identify the statements which are correct here. First statement, number of domestic migrants in India has decreased by approximately 11.78 crore, 11.78%, sorry, to 40.2 crore between 2011 and 2023. तो 2011 एंड 2023 के बीच में अगर हम देखें जो डोमेस्टिक माइग्रेंट्स हैं वो डिक्रीज हुए हैं. माइग्रेशन रेट जो है इंडिया के अंदर वो इंक्रीज हुआ है टू 48.88%. There are 5 states, that is UP, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, and West Bengal, which accounts for 48% of the total outbound migrants, including within state migration. तो आपके सामने 3 statements दिए गए हैं. I have already highlighted those important facts and figures that we are required to remember. And let me tell you कि इन questions को भी हमने फ्रेम इसी तरीके से किया है so that कि हर एक important dimension आपके यहाँ पर अच्छे से cover हो जाए. तो अगर हम बात करते हैं इस क्वेश्चन के सही आंसर की, that is option A, that is statement number 1 and 3 are absolutely right. But statement number 2 is incorrect. Why so? Because it states that migration rate in India has increased. But let me tell you, my dear friends, that the migration rate जो है इंडिया के अंदर वो डिक्रीज हुआ है. आप देखिए ना, सी बहुत ही कॉमन सेंस है, आप पहली स्टेटमेंट को देखिए कि डोमेस्टिक माइग्रेंट जो है इंडिया के अंदर वो डिक्रीज हुए हैं. तो जो माइग्रेशन रेट हमारा इंक्रीज कैसे हो सकता है? ठीक है, तो अगर ये 37.64 था तो डेफिनेटली इट शुड हैव रिड्यूस्ड. So the value for that part is that it has reduced from 37.64 to 28.88%. That is why the statement is incorrect. That is what we need to identify in the examination. And that is what many people have answered the question correctly, which includes Missy, Kshitij, Nitya, Happy Aditya, Gururaj, Unique, all the people giving me the right answers. Well done, my dear friends. Let's move on to the next question. And the next report is the Future of Jobs Report 2025. So guys, this data is again about we all know that in the upcoming part, we see that there are some emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning is there, they are taking place, and you can see that humans are also losing their jobs, right? Earlier, when machines were introduced, we lost the jobs to the machines, and now we are losing our jobs to the artificial intelligence and machine learning. So now the part is this report basically tells us about that what is going to be the a proportion of people who will be doing jobs, that is the tasks which are performed by the humans, tasks which are performed by the machines or algorithms. So all these things we will be covering in this part. So first thing is that we have to identify this report is released by which organization. Next part, what percentage of the tasks are performed by humans? 22% will be done by machine and algorithm and 30% through human technology collaboration. But what is the releasing body and what is the percentage of tasks to be done by humans? So guys, when we talk about this, so this report is released by World Economic Forum, and you can see here that 47% of the tasks will be performed by humans as per the report फ्यूचर जॉब्स रिपोर्ट 2025। ठीक है। सो अब आपके सामने अगर वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम है तो इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बारे में हमें इंपॉर्टेंट डिटेल्स पता होनी चाहिए। सो व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम, माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, लेट मी टेल यू, इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अस टू आइडेंटिफाई दैट हु इज द चेयरमैन ऑफ द वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम। तो काफी इजी है गाइस, फाउंडर और वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम के अभी तक सेम है। कैन एनीबडी टेल मी द चैट बॉक्स व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ दैट पर्सन? So the founder and chairman of World Economic Forum is Klaus Schwab. ठीक है? So let me tell you that there is another important part that we have to understand when we talk about the president of World Economic Forum. A new person was been appointed recently. Can anybody tell me what is the name of that person? What is the name of the person who is the president of World Economic Forum? जल्दी से बताइए मुझे चैट बॉक्स के अंदर क्या इस क्वेश्चन का सही आंसर? आई एम वेटिंग फॉर योर रिस्पॉन्सेज. So basically the name of the person is Borge. Okay, so Borge is the right answer, who is the presently serving as the president of World Economic Forum, and World Economic Forum has come up with a report that is Future of Jobs Report 2025. तो याद रखिएगा 47% टास्क जो है ह्यूमंस करेंगे, 22% बाय मशीन्स एंड 30% साथ में ह्यूमन और टेक्नोलॉजी के कोलैबोरेशन के साथ किया जाएगा. बढ़ते हैं अगले क्वेश्चन की तरफ, दैट इज ऑन द फिस्कल हेल्थ इंडेक्स 2025. So guys, Fiscal Health Index 2025, we all know that all the states and UTs want to do a lot of development works. They want to carry forward a lot of development works in their respective places. But for that, what we need? अगर for example guys, let us take an example that अगर आप अपने एरिया में, आप अपने घर पे कोई काम कराना चाहते हैं, if you want some task to be done at your own home, what do you need? You need some good financial, you need some good finances. So similarly, the states and UTs must have some good finances to finance those projects, right? So that is why we are having the Fiscal Health Index 2025, which basically assesses the finances of these states and UTs and how they can basically learn from their peers, that how they can manage and how they can basically allot these funds for the respective developmental works. So this report is basically launched by Niti Aayog. You have to tell me here which of the following statements are correct. First statement, it analyzes fiscal health of 18 major states. Absolutely right. तो बेसिकली सारे इंडियन स्टेट्स एंड यूटीज को इसमें इंक्लूड नहीं किया जाता. द मेजर स्टेट्स जिनका अच्छा खासा कंट्रीब्यूशन है जीडीपी के अंदर, तो बेसिकली उनको इंक्लूड किया जाता है. एंड दिस रिपोर्ट इज रिलीज बाय नीति आयोग. ठीक है. सो द नेक्स्ट statement is the index is based on 5 major sub-indices with 9 minor sub-indices. तो 5 major sub-indices हैं, 9 minor sub-indices हैं. और West Bengal is having the highest index score of 70.8 in the Fiscal Health Index 2025, leading all the states. So my dear friends, quickly tell me in the chat box what is the right answer here. Which of the following statements are correct? जल्दी से बताइए मुझे chat box के अंदर. So I can see here people are saying option A is the right answer, as in the third statement it is not West Bengal, it is Odisha. एब्सोल्युटली राइट. ऑल द पीपल जिन्होंने यहाँ पर ऑप्शन ए को मार्क किया है और बताया है कि हाईएस्ट स्कोर उड़ीसा का है ना कि वेस्ट बंगाल का, काइंडली मार्क +1 इन योर पेपर एज दिस इज द राइट आंसर. Odisha leads in the fiscal health with the highest index score of 67.8. Now, before moving ahead, as we are talking about the Niti Aayog, can anybody tell me who is presently serving as the CEO? CEO of Niti Aayog. कौन है CEO of Niti Aayog? Please quickly tell me in the chat box. तो नीति आयोग के CEO का नाम है BVR Subramaniam. ठीक है? That is the right answer. So whenever we are covering these reports, guys, some static portion of the organization can also be asked. So we have to make sure we are covering that as well. अभी हमने बात की कि there are 5 major sub-indices and 9 minor sub-indices. So now, my dear friends, it's the time to cover those sub-indices. So we always tell you that there are some 5 important dimensions of the report. तो यहाँ पर हमने कुछ important dimensions को cover किया. That is the releasing body is Niti Aayog. When we talk about the about part, so there are 5 major sub-indices, 9 minor sub-indices. Then when we talk about the key rankings, so West Bengal is not at on the top. It is Odisha which is on the top. So now, my dear friends, it is a time to cover the important sub-indices here. And the question to you is, which of the following is not a sub-index under the report? इनमें से कौन सा sub-index नहीं है इस रिपोर्ट का? And to answer such kind of questions, it is very important for you कि आप इनको अच्छे से कवर करें. ठीक है? अगर आपको याद ही नहीं है कि कौन से पैरामीटर्स हैं, कौन से सब इंडेक्सेस हैं, तो आप ऐसे क्वेश्चंस को आंसर नहीं कर पाएंगे एग्जामिनेशन के अंदर, क्योंकि वहां पर एग्जाम में हम देखते हैं ऐसे क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में पूछे जाते हैं. ठीक है? So here the options are quality of expenditure, which is right. Revenue mobilization is also there. Fiscal prudence is also there. Debt sustainability is there. So these four are basically the part of the five sub indices, but fiscal index is not there. तो फिस्कल इंडेक्स नहीं है. आई कैन सी मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल हैव गिवन मी द राइट आंसर ऑप्शन ई. अगर हम बात करते हैं फाइव सब इंडेसेस, इट इंक्लूड्स क्वालिटी ऑफ एक्सपेंडिचर, रेवेन्यू मोबिलाइजेशन, फिस्कल प्रूडेंस, डेट इंडेक्स एंड द डेट सस्टेनेबिलिटी. तो यहां पर आपका डेट इंडेक्स होगा, ना कि फिस्कल इंडेक्स. दैट्स व्हाई दिस ऑप्शन ई वाज द इनकरेक्ट पार्ट. और यहां पर माइनर सब इंडेसेस है. लेट मी टेल यू कि एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से हमें माइनर सब इंडेसेस आर नॉट दैट इंपॉर्टेंट, बट यस वी हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट वी आर कवरिंग द मेजर सब इंडेसेस. ठीक है, जो मेजर सब इंडेसेस हैं, पैरामीटर्स हैं, ये हमारे लिए काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से. आई होप दिस इज क्लियर टू ऑल ऑफ यू गाइस. सो फिजिकल हेल्थ इंडेक्स से सारे इंपॉर्टेंट पैरामीटर्स को हमने यहाँ पर कवर किया है. एंड स्टिल इफ देयर इज समवन हु इज नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस रिपोर्ट, जिसने इस रिपोर्ट को अच्छे से कवर नहीं किया अभी तक और सिर्फ वो डायरेक्टली हमारे रिवीजन सेशन में आए हैं गाइस, तो लेट मी टेल यू कि हमने इसको ऑलरेडी इन डिटेल में डिस्कस किया है हमारे एक सेपरेट सेशन के अंदर. यू गाइस कैन डेफिनेटली एक्सेस दैट पर्टिकुलर सेशन बाय क्लिकिंग ऑन द गिवन लिंक हियर. ओके, सो नाउ लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ऑन द ग्लोबल इकोनॉमिक प्रोस्पेक्ट. इससे पहले हमने कवर किया वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक सिचुएशन एंड प्रोस्पेक्ट्स. नाउ वी विल बी कवरिंग ग्लोबल इकोनॉमिक प्रोस्पेक्ट. सो दोनों ही रिपोर्ट हमें जीडीपी ग्रोथ फोरकास्ट के बारे में अवेयर करती है. सो दिस रिपोर्ट इज रिलीज्ड was released in the month of January 2025. अब इसको रिलीज कौन करता है? ग्लोबल ग्रोथ रेट की प्रोजेक्शन क्या है और इंडिया की ग्रोथ फोरकास्ट क्या है? ये तीन डायमेंशन पर हमें इस क्वेश्चन को आंसर करना है. सी, when you will see this question, it is a very easy question. Just there are three fill in the blanks that we need to fill here. But you can see that every blank is assessing you, is evaluating you across a different dimension. First dimension is the releasing body. Second is the growth forecast for world and the growth forecast for India. So yes, absolutely right. Option B is the right answer. Unique, Kshitij, Happy, Missy, Gururaj, आप सभी ने इस क्वेश्चन का सही आंसर दिया है, including Aditya, Sagar and Kshitij. So here the right answer is World Bank, which has come up with a report. When we talk about the GDP growth forecast for the at the world level in 25-26, it is going to be 2.7%. And when we talk about India, guys, it is going to be 6.7% for fiscal year 26. And India is going to be one of the fastest growing countries across the world. Okay. So यहाँ पर हम एक और क्वेश्चन इसी रिपोर्ट पर कवर करेंगे, बट ये क्वेश्चन थोड़ा सा डिटेल है. ठीक है, तो सी एक तरीके का क्वेश्चन आपको यहाँ दो तरीके से देखने को मिल सकता है. लाइक आपने यहाँ पर देखा थ्री डायमेंशन थे विच आर बीन आस्क्ड इन द फॉर्म ऑफ द fill in the blank, and here you can see that there is a statement based question, but when you will see this question, almost the lines are similar which have been asked in the previous question. For example, the report is released by the World Bank on a semi-annual basis, which is absolutely right. Second statement, global growth, it is going to remain at 2.7% in 25-26, which is again correct. Then India's growth forecast for fiscal year 26 is 6-7%, making it the second fastest growing major economy after China. तो ये चाइना के बाद सेकंड सबसे फास्टेस्ट ग्रोइंग मेजर इकोनॉमी होगी, दैट इज इंडिया. और इसका हमने ग्रोथ फोरकास्ट अभी अभी कवर किया था. See, we already covered this part that it is 6.7% and not 7%, right? So that's why the statement is absolutely incorrect here. So right answer will be option A. That is 1 and 2 statements are correct here. ठीक है, तो if you guys are able to understand this part, that's how we can see a similar question in a two manners. So please give me a thumbs up in the chat box. अगर आपको समझ में आ गया है कि एक क्वेश्चन आपको थोड़ा अलग तरीके से भी आ सकता है, तो एक थम्स अप मुझे दीजिए चैट बॉक्स के अंदर. ठीक है जी, ओके, पढ़ते हैं हम अपने अगले क्वेश्चन की तरफ. So before that, you can see here that graph. I have already presented you the graph. We have already covered the important part from here that for the world, the GDP growth forecast is 2.7%, 24, 25, and 26. And when we talk about the India, for India, it is 6.7% for both 25 and 26. That is the right answer. Okay, so that is the right part. So the most important thing is this. Let me tell you guys that whenever you are seeing such kind of report, we are also required to cover the advanced economies, because in the previous year we have seen one of the question was being asked from advanced economies. तो advanced economies को भी cover कीजिए. 1.7% है in 24, 25 and 26 के अंदर it is 1.8%. So yes, this is the right part, and I can see the thumbs ups in the chat box that basically shows that yes, everything is fine to all of you. You have got this point and you are going to revise the things by solving such kind of different set of MCQs which are going to help you to analyze yourself and to retain all the important information from exam point of view. ओके, तो रिटेंशन हमारी होगी और दूसरा हमारी अच्छी रिवीजन होगी इस सेशन के जरिए। बढ़ेंगे अगले क्वेश्चन की तरफ, दैट इज द वर्ल्ड एम्प्लॉयमेंट एंड सोशल आउटलुक ट्रेंड्स 2025 रिपोर्ट। जब भी बात आती है एम्प्लॉयमेंट की, तो एम्प्लॉयमेंट किसको मिलती है? लेबर को मिलती है अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड। व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ दैट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन विच वर्क्स for the labor's rights, that is International Labour Organization, and this report is also released by the International Labour Organization only. That's how you can retain this fact about this organization. And when we talk about this report basically tells us about the trends in the employment across the world, right? So we will be understanding the trends of the employment across the world with the help of this particular part. So in the 2024, you can see that the global employment grew and the unemployment rate remained steady। तो ग्लोबल एम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ी है, तो उससे क्या हुआ? जो अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट था वो हमारा स्टडी रहा, दैट इज इट रिमेन्ड सेम एज इन 2023। थर्ड स्टेटमेंट, ग्लोबल जॉब गैप रीच 502 मिलियन इन 2024। तो 2024 के अंदर जो ग्लोबल जॉब गैप था वो 502 मिलियन पहुंचा, इंडिकेटिंग द नंबर ऑफ पीपल वांटिंग टू वर्क बट अनेबल टू फाइंड अ जॉब। सी गाइस, you can see here that this is the stark reality in our society. There are people who want to do a job, they are having all the proper qualifications, but they are not able to find the job. And that's where the global job gap creates. And what exactly is the number of such kind of people? It is very important for us to identify so that we can resolve this issue in our society. And that is why this kind of data is very important. And you can also mention these data whenever you are answering your descriptive answers as well. So when we talk about the global job gap, it is not 502 million, it is 402 million. That's why option statement 3 is incorrect. Statement 1 and 2 are absolutely right. Right answer will be option A, that is 1 and 2. Okay, so global job gap is 402 million. That is right answer. Now, guys, if I ask you about the ILO, can anybody tell me in which year it was established? The International Labour Organization was established in which year? See, let me tell you that in this session, I will be challenging you with such kind of more questions. तो यहाँ पर सिर्फ करंट अफेयर्स को नहीं, करंट अफेयर्स के साथ साथ हम थोड़ा सा स्टैटिक क्वेश्चन भी रिवाइज करेंगे जिससे कि आप सभी की एक अच्छी रिवीजन और प्रिपरेशन हो सके फ्रॉम द एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू। तो यहाँ पर गुरुराज और हैप्पी ने बिल्कुल सही बताया मुझे दैट द पर्सन हु इज द हेड ऑफ this organization is Gilbert Hongbo. Absolutely right. And when we talk about the year in which it was established, it was 1919. And from this, you can see here that yes, this organization is more than 100 years old, right? So, absolutely right, guys. Well done. बढ़ते हैं अगले क्वेश्चन की तरफ, that is on the India's digital economy report. So, according to the estimation and measurement of India's digital economy report, India's digital economy is estimated to be at dash percent of the national income in 22-23, amounting to 31.64 lakh crores in the GDP। तो GDP के अंदर हमारा डिजिटल इकोनॉमी का कितना प्रपोर्शन है ये हम आइडेंटिफाई करना चाहते हैं इस रिपोर्ट के अंदर, इस क्वेश्चन के अंदर। This question is on the estimation and measurement of India's digital economy report. Guys, we all know we are moving toward the digital India, right? We are having the digital India program as well. तो उससे हमारा जो डिजिटल इकोनॉमी है वो उस पर भी काफी इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा और उसका जो प्रपोर्शन है उसका कंट्रीब्यूशन है हमारी जीडीपी के अंदर, दैट इज आल्सो गोइंग टू इंक्रीज। So what was that value in 22-23? It was 11.74%. And yes, this is the right answer. So I hope guys that all of you are really able to understand this part. It is a very, very easy part. Now moving on to the next question, which is on a very important report, that is Global Multidimensional Poverty Index 2024. So my dear friends, Global Multidimensional Poverty Index, which basically assesses and evaluates the number of people in our society which are living under the acute multidimensional poverty। अगर हम बात करें multidimensional poverty की, so there are some different parameters on the basis of which we analyze and we evaluate the poverty in our society. So here are three statements. We are required to identify the incorrect statement. First statement, it is released by United Nations Development Program along with Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative. So this statement is absolutely right. Second statement, 1.1 billion people lives in acute multidimensional poverty with the highest numbers found in India, Pakistan and Ethiopia. So India, Pakistan, Ethiopia, they are the largest contributors we can say to this particular multidimensional poverty. As you can see, 1.1 billion people That accounts for 18.3% of the global population, guys. This is under the multidimensional poverty. Now, the third part is more than half of the 1.1 billion people in poverty are adults who are above 18 years of age. Guys, let me tell you that as per the Global Multidimensional Poverty Index released by UNDP along with Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative, more than half of the 1.1 billion people who are in the poverty, they are not adults. Instead, they are children who are under the age of 18 years. That's why third statement is incorrect. Right answer will be option C, that is 3 only. I can see in the chat box. So Sagar, Nitya, Kshitij, Aditya, Gururaj, Happy, all of them have given me the right answer. That is option C. So you can see here, guys, that children under 18, so more than 1.1 billion people, sorry, more than half of the 1.1 billion people who are under the acute poverty, they are children under 18 years, which is 584 million children, which are under the acute poverty as per the report. Now, next question on the same report, and we are required to identify correct statements here. Again, you can see that some data are being presented here from this multidimensional poverty index, which tells us about the different data about this part, right? What are these different parts? That is 83.7% of the rural poor people live in rural areas. ठीक है? So 83.7% of the poor people live in rural areas. Rural population living in poverty is estimated at 28%, which is higher than the urban population in living in poverty estimated at 6.6%. The poverty rate in urban areas is higher than in the rural areas, which indicates a greater percentage of urban people living in the poverty. So we need to identify the correct statements here. Most of the people are going with option A. तो क्या ऑप्शन ए को लॉक किया जाए? Let us wait for other aspirants as well to answer. See guys, अगर आपको नहीं आइडिया है इस रिपोर्ट का, do not worry about this part. See, बट वन मोर इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज देयर, अगर आपको नहीं भी आता तो भी आप पार्टिसिपेट कीजिए सेशन के अंदर बाय गिविंग द बाय ट्राइंग टू आंसर द क्वेश्चन। तो इससे क्या होगा कि एक लर्निंग होगी हमारे लिए। अगर हमने क्वेश्चन को सही आंसर किया तो डेफिनेटली हमें याद रहेगा कि ये डेटा मैंने सही आंसर किया था विदाउट इवन नोइंग इट। फर्स्ट थिंग। सेकंड थिंग इज, अगर वो इनकरेक्ट होता है तो वी विल बी एबल टू रिमेंबर दैट यस दिस वाज द डेटा दैट आई मार्क्ड इनकरेक्ट, बट नाउ आई एम रियली रेडी टू answer such kind of question in the examination. So I can see that yes, option A is the right answer. All the people have given me the right answer. अगर हम बात करें थर्ड स्टेटमेंट की, थर्ड स्टेटमेंट यहाँ इनकरेक्ट है। Why? Because the poverty rate जो अर्बन एरियाज के अंदर है वो रूरल एरिया से काफी लो है। अगर हम बात करते हैं रूरल पॉपुलेशन की तो 28% रूरल पॉपुलेशन हमारी पॉवर्टी के अंदर है, बट 6.6% आर इन द अर्बन एरियाज। Yes, Chaudhary, this session also covers the reports which we have covered in the reports tab document as well. Okay. So yes, that is the right part. So my dear friends, you can see here, yes, option A is the right answer. Statement 3 was incorrect here. So yes, Aditya jeet gaya because you have given the right answer. That is option A. So guys, when we were talking about the multi-dimensional poverty index, so we basically assess the poverty across the different indicators, which includes health, education, and living standards. So these are the three dimensions. Now these three dimensions further having some indicators. Okay? So basically under the health, we are having nutrition and child mortality. Under education, we are having years of schooling and the school attendance. तो कितने स्कूल, कितने इयर्स की स्कूलिंग आपने की और साथ साथ स्कूल के अटेंडेंस भी काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है। Now the third important part is the living standard, which includes cooking fuel, sanitation, drinking water, electricity, housing, and assets. So these are one of the very key things that we require apart from health and education in order to live a good life. ठीक है? So इसी तरीके से अगर हम एक गेम बनाकर चलेंगे गाइस अपने इस क्विज को, तो डेफिनेटली आपके लिए ये काफी ज्यादा इजी होगा चीजों को यहाँ पर कवर करना। ठीक है? तो यहाँ पर सीरियसली पढ़ेंगे और अच्छे से कवर करेंगे सारे इंपॉर्टेंट डायमेंशंस को। तो यहाँ पर आई होप कि आपके लिए काफी क्लियर है व्हाट आर द थ्री डायमेंशंस, हेल्थ, एजुकेशन एंड लिविंग स्टैंडर्ड। एंड फर्दर यू कैन सी हियर that there are total 10 indicators under this report. Under health, there are two, that is nutrition and child mortality. Under education, there are 2 years of schooling and school attendance. And third statement is living standard, that is which includes again. Okay, that is cooking fuel, sanitation, drinking water, electricity, housing, and assets. So these are basically the important things to cover here. Health, education, and living standard. Okay, so if your life is not in the hell, guys, तो इससे आपको ये अपनी हेल्थ वाली ये जो डायमेंशन है इनको आपको याद रखना पड़ेगा इन द हेल्थ एच स्टैंड्स फॉर हेल्थ ई स्टैंड्स फॉर एजुकेशन एल स्टैंड्स फॉर लिविंग स्टैंडर्ड नाउ आई बिलीव कि आपको ये सब चीजें याद रहेंगी ठीक है इफ यू गाइज रियली फाउंड दिस वे ऑफ कवरिंग इंटरेस्टिंग देन प्लीज गिव मी अ थम्स अप इन द चैट बॉक्स ठीक है तो इस तरीके से आप अपने कुछ पार्ट्स भी बना सकते हैं व्हेन यू आर कवरिंग दिस पर्टिकुलर रिपोर्ट I hope this is clear to all of you. Now let's move on to the next report, guys. A very important report that is the ACER report, which again tells us about the status of education in the rural areas. So ACER report 2024 was released in the month of January 2025. And first dimension of this report is the releasing body, that is the Pratham Foundation, which is releases this report. Next part is the report focuses on three groups of children. Let me tell you that this report again comes up with this important part, and this report comes up with three groups. It divides the children into the three groups so that we are having more focused approach in identifying the performance of the students and to see the status of education in our rural areas. तो यहाँ पर three groups कौन से हैं? Pre primary, elementary and older children. Then when we talk about the ACER report, it is the 16th edition of the nationwide survey on children's schooling and learning in rural India. तो चिल्ड्रंस की स्कूलिंग लर्निंग कैसी है ये हमें ये रिपोर्ट बताती है कौन सी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन रिलीज करती है प्रथम फाउंडेशन रिलीज करती है ठीक है और क्या ग्रुप्स हैं ये भी हमने कवर कर लिया है सो पीपल आर सेइंग ऑप्शन ए इज द राइट आंसर क्योंकि देर आर दिस इज द 14th एडिशन ऑफ द रिपोर्ट एब्सोल्युटली राइट दिस इज द 14th एडिशन that's why third statement is incorrect. Right answer is option A, that is 1 and 2. Absolutely right. Well done. This shows that yes, you are really able to understand this report in a very comprehensive manner. Moving to the next question, which is on the further indicators and the different findings of this report. Now, guys, when we talk about the status of education, it is very important that the very first part that we should understand and evaluate here is the enrollment of the people. How many students are enrolled across these three different groups into the schooling ecosystem in our rural area? That is very important part. So here we are required to identify correct statement. Let us go through these three statements here. So here we are talking about the pre-primary age group. Okay, so this question is all about the pre-primary age group. So enrollment of children under 3 to 5 years in pre-primary institutions ये improve हुई है from 2018 to 24. Second statement Meghalaya and UP ये highest proportion रहा इनका of not enrolled anywhere. They are having the highest proportion of 3-year-olds not enrolled anywhere. ये कहाँ कहीं पर भी इन states के बच्चे मतलब highest proportion जो बच्चों का है इस age group का उन्होंने कहीं enrollment नहीं किया है state के अंदर. With over 50% of them not attending any pre-primary institution. Third statement Anganwadi centers have enrolling over half of all 3 and 4-year-olds since 2018. which remains the largest provider of pre-primary education. अगर हम बात करें रूरल एरियाज के अंदर प्री प्राइमरी एजुकेशन जो मिलती है तो उसका लार्जेस्ट प्रोवाइडर कौन है आंगनवाड़ी सेंटर्स हैं ओके सो हियर एब्सोल्युटली राइट ऑप्शन डी इज द राइट आंसर एज ऑल दी स्टेटमेंट्स आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द एसर रिपोर्ट so I can see here most of the people giving me the right answer yes option D is the right answer all 1 2 and 3 are correct with respect to this ACER report अब बढ़ेंगे हम एनरोलमेंट के ऊपर now let's move on to the next age group that is age group of 6 to 14 years so again we are having three statements first school enrollment for children under the age group of 6 to 14 years so it was above 95% for last 20 years अगर हम अभी की बात करते हैं तो it has remained steady guys तो लास्ट 20 ईयर से अगर हम देखें द वैल्यू हैज रिमेन्ड मोर देन 95% एंड नाउ इन 2024 इट वाज 98.1% ओके नाउ द नेक्स्ट स्टेटमेंट ऑल इंडिया डेटा दिखाता है कि जो रीडिंग लेवल्स हैं गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स के अंदर वो इंप्रूव हुए हैं अक्रॉस ऑल द एलिमेंट्री ग्रेड्स अक्रॉस ऑल द एलिमेंट्री ग्रेड्स द रीडिंग लेवल्स आर इंक्रीज लेट मी टेल यू कि ये जो हमारी एसर रिपोर्ट है इसके अंदर कुछ डिफरेंट टास्क स्टूडेंट्स को दिए जाते हैं इन ऑर्डर टू एवेल्युएट वेदर दे आर हैविंग द प्रॉपर एजुकेशन और नॉट जिसके अंदर हम एनरोलमेंट तो देखते ही है साथ में उनका रीडिंग लेवल देखते हैं कि वो अपने मान लीजिए अगर कोई स्टूडेंट 5th स्टैंडर्ड के अंदर है तो क्या वो स्टैंडर्ड 2 और 3 की बुक्स को अच्छे से रीड कर पाता है तो बेसिकली ये सब चीजें यहाँ पर उनको कराई जाती हैं Then reading level in standard 5 have improved significantly, especially in the private school. तो private schools में especially ये improve हुई है. तो आपके सामने स्टेटमेंट है, the statements which are correct here. तो people are giving me option A is the right answer, absolutely right. Because अगर हम बात करेंगे ऑप्शन स्टेटमेंट 3 की, that is standard 5 students improve हुआ है वहां पर रीडिंग लेवल, but it was not in the private schools, it was in the government schools. So there was a notable increase in the government school. तो रीडिंग लेवल स्टैंडर्ड 5 स्टूडेंट्स का गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में इंक्रीज हुआ है. That's why the statement is incorrect. Third statement is incorrect. Right answer is option A, that is 1 and 2. Now another question on the ASA report, guys. Let me tell you that it is a very important report for all the people. Either you're preparing for RPI, NABARD, SEBI, or you can see any other part. For example, अगर हम बात करें, my dear friends, even in the NPS grade A officer examination, which I just taken recently, तो वहां पर भी one of the essay topic was related to the education. तो अगर आप इन रिपोर्ट्स को मेंशन करेंगे ऐसे or descriptive questions can that definitely you will be having an edge over the other aspirants, right? So that's why these reports are important. You can answer these objective questions if the question is been asked on this report in the examination. The next part is you can also include the name of these reports in your descriptive answers. So यहाँ पर हमें identify करना है incorrect statement क्या है. पहला statement, proportion of 15 to 16-year-olds who are not enrolled in the school, जो स्कूल के अंदर enrolled नहीं है वो decreased हुआ है to 7.9% in 2024. It decreased from 13.1% in 2018 to 7.9% in 2024. The proportion of girls not enrolled in the school, it increased slightly from 7.9% to 8.1% in 2024. Third statement, nearly 90% of the boys and girls in this age group, they have access to the smartphone. उनके पास access है smartphones का. So we were required to identify the incorrect statement, and here, guys, there is not a single statement which is incorrect here. Let me tell you that there is a separate section in this report which also identifies and evaluates the digital literacy and accessibility of the students. तो क्या उनके पास फोन है कि नहीं है? सबसे पहले चीज इज first thing is accessibility. Next part is ownership, whether they own the phone or not. Third thing is use, whether they are having that proper education that how to use that phone. क्या वो phone use कर पाते हैं? क्या उनके पास वो skill set है to use the phone or not? Now the fourth thing is digital safety, whether they are very much aware that what they are required to do on the phones or the laptops on the internet, right? We all know that there are so many of the things that we need to check before we basically enter or sign up for any particular, or we can say website or right. So वहां पर कोई आपका डेटा थेफ्ट तो नहीं हो रहा है, तो ये सब चीजों के बारे में उनको आइडिया है कि नहीं है. नाउ द नेक्स्ट पार्ट इज द डिजिटल स्किल्स. तो डिजिटल स्किल्स के बारे में भी उनको प्रॉपर इंफॉर्मेशन होनी चाहिए, ठीक है. तो डिजिटल स्किल्स उनके अंदर होनी चाहिए. सो दीज आर द 5 पैरामीटर्स अक्रॉस विच वी बेसिकली assess the digital literacy among the students. So, my dear friends, let me tell you that we have tried to cover the most important dimensions from the ACER report in this session. But let me tell you, I will recommend you that you should make sure that you will be watching this detailed session of the ACER report. The link is given here. जब आपके पास पीडीएफ आएगा, पीडीएफ को डाउनलोड कीजिएगा, इस लिंक पे क्लिक कीजिएगा, इट विल डायरेक्टली टेक यू टू दैट पर्टिकुलर सेशन. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट आप हमारी सिटी 360 सीरीज की प्लेलिस्ट से भी इस सेशन को एक्सेस कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज दिस काइंड ऑफ सेशन इज रियली इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम द एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. ठीक है, ये रिपोर्ट काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है. अब हम बढ़ते हैं अगले क्वेश्चन की तरफ. सो गाइस, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज अबाउट the global 500 2025 most valuable brands ranking. We have seen some private section reports are also being asked by the different examinations in the recent part, so that's why we are covering this report. So here global 500 2025, whenever we are covering these reports we have to make sure that we are covering the top 5 parts. ठीक है, तो टॉप 5 जो है हमारे वो काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है. किसी भी रिपोर्ट का आप कवर करते हो वहां पर रैंकिंग्स है, तो टॉप 5 हमें कवर करनी है. Yes, the data in the ASA report is really too much, and that is why it is very important for you to read that report in a very systematic manner so that आपके लिए उसको याद करना काफी easy हो जाए चौधरी. ठीक है. So when we talk about this part, the brand which is not among the top 5 as per the most valuable brands ranking, it was Tesla, which is not the part of top 5. And that's why option E is the right answer. Absolutely right. I can see here Kshitij Missy, Sagar, Aditya, Nitya, Gururaj, all the people have given me the right answer to this question. That is option E. बढ़ते हैं अगली क्वेश्चन की तरफ दैट इज द ग्लोबल एजिंग सोसाइटी इंडेक्स सो यू हैव टू टेल मी दैट व्हाट इज इंडियाज रैंक इन द ग्लोबल एजिंग सोसाइटी इंडेक्स and how much India is ready for a rapidly aging society. So there are five options to this. You have to tell me which of the following statements, which of the following are is the India's rank in the terms of readiness. So option A is the right answer. That is 123 is the India's rank. And whenever you are covering these reports, guys, let me tell you, it is very important for us to cover the top five performers. And that's why I have brought here the top five performers in this report. That is Switzerland has topped this index, followed by Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and Iceland. Okay, so these are the top five countries in the Global Aging Society Index, where India rank is 123. Next question is on the Global Power Cities Index. Again, this report we have already discussed in a very detailed manner in our session. Now you have to tell me the the place which is not among the top five cities. What is the name of the city which is not among the top five city? Is it London, New York, Tokyo, Paris, and Sydney? So again, here Sydney is the right answer. Sydney is not the part of the top five cities. Instead, it is Singapore. It is not Sydney, it was Singapore which is on the top five. So London, New York, Tokyo, Paris, and Singapore, these are the top five. And Dubai is the only Middle Eastern city in the top 10. And Mumbai, which is from India, it was on the 48th position in the रिपोर्ट दैट इज ग्लोबल पावर सिटीज इंडेक्स तो ग्लोबल पावर सिटीज इंडेक्स में मुंबई की अगर हम बात की जाए इंडियन सिटी इट इज ऑन द 48th पोजीशन whereas London is on top followed by New York, Tokyo, Paris and Singapore. So this report we have also covered and this report has been released by the Japan's Mori Memorial Foundation and this report evaluates the cities across the six key categories which includes economy, research and development, cultural interaction, livability, environment and accessibility. So इन छह पैरामीटर्स के अक्रॉस यहाँ पर सिटीज को इवेल्युएट किया जाता है. Now let's move on to the another important report, my dear friends, that is your financial stability report. So this report has been released by the Reserve Bank of India in the month of December 2024, but it is important, so we will be covering that. Now, what you have to do, you have to evaluate the following statements about the state of government finance. तो यहाँ पर आपके चार स्टेटमेंट दिए गए हैं और आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना है व्हाट इज द राइट आंसर हियर. सो स्टेटमेंट नंबर वन तो यहाँ पर अभी आप इस एक्सप्लेनेशन को नहीं देखेंगे. ट्राई टू आंसर द क्वेश्चन ऑन योर ओन. First statement, central government's gross fiscal deficit for 23-24 stood at 5.6% of GDP and it falls short of the budgeted target of 5.9%. Next statement, revenue expenditure is projected to increase by 6.2% and the revenue expenditure to capital outlay ratio will decline to 3.8% in 24-25. Central government debt to GDP ratio is forecasted at 55.2% in 24-25, a reduction from its pandemic era peak of 62.7%. Interest payments to revenue receipts ratio is expected to drop at 37.2% in 24-25. So, my dear friends, when we talk about such kind of question, see, when we talk about the financial stability report, it basically provides us the performance of the Indian banking sector and across the different variables and the parameters which are responsible for that particular performance. तो यहाँ पर हमें उन चीजों को कवर करना है. When we talk about the right answer to this question, it is option B. That is 1 and 4 only which are correct here. 1 and 4 are correct, but statement number 2 and 3 are incorrect here. Why? Because revenue expenditure की बात की जाए, it is expected to rise by 6.2%. But जब हम बात करते हैं revenue expenditure to capital outlay ratio की, it will be at 4% in 24-25. Guys, let me tell you, it is a very important report. ठीक है, काफी इंपॉर्टेंट रिपोर्ट है आपके एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू के लिए. सो अगर हम बात करते हैं नेक्स्ट स्टेटमेंट दैट इज डेट टू जीडीपी रेशियो की, सो इट इज गोइंग टू डिक्लाइन टू 56.8% in 24-25 and not 55.2%. That is why the statement is incorrect here. Right answer is 1 and 4 only which are correct here as per the financial stability report. अब बढ़ते हैं अगले क्वेश्चन की तरफ which is on the same report and this question basically ask you to evaluate the performance of non-banking financial companies. So NBFCs की क्या performance है as per the financial stability report is very important. So first statement, overall loan growth जो है NBFCs की वो moderate हुई है to 6.5%. And what was the reason? That is the higher risk weights on specific NBFC and bank loans. सेकंड स्टेटमेंट अगर हम एनबीएफसी की सीआरएआर की बात करें, दैट इज अ कैपिटल टू रिस्क वेटेड एसेट रेशियो व्हिच इज वन ऑफ द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पैरामीटर टू अंडरस्टैंड and to evaluate the performance of the banks. So NBFC की अगर हम बात करें CRAR, it was 26.1% in September 24. Third statement, gross NPA जो है it improved to 2.4%. We need to identify the statements which are correct here. Five options are there. You need to identify the statement which is correct here. So any options, any guesses from you guys? Yes, I know that this report is quite comprehensive in the nature, and I have tried to cover the most important dimensions from this report as well. तो हम पूरी रिपोर्ट को यहाँ कवर नहीं करेंगे, but yes, I think even if we are covering the 4 to 5 questions, that will give you the idea that whether you retain all the important aspects of the report or not. तो ये एनालिसिस बहुत जरूरी है हमारे लिए कि अगर हमने किसी रिपोर्ट को कवर कर लिया है, उसका सेशन देखा है, उसके डॉक्यूमेंट को रीड आउट कर लिया है, तो क्या हमें उसकी डिटेल्स याद हैं कि नहीं है? ये काफी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है जो हमें खुद से पूछना चाहिए. And try to answer that question honestly to yourself so that you can go ahead and carry forward your preparation for the examination, be it any section of this exam. So here, absolutely right. Option A is the right answer. Statement 1 and 2 are correct. Missy, Aditya, Gururaj, Nitya are given the right answer. When we talk about the GNPA, guys, it is improved to 3.4% and not the 2.4%. That is why this statement is, third statement is incorrect as per the financial stability report released in December 2024. Now moving to the next question. So based on the financial stability report, consider the following statements regarding performance of scheduled commercial banks. So just now we covered the performance of NBFCs. Now it is a time for performance of scheduled commercial banks. So here the profitability of the scheduled commercial banks improved significantly in 24-25 to 22.2%. Return on equity for all commercial banks stood at 14.1% and the net interest margin increase across all the bank groups, indicating robust performance in the interest earnings. So guys, here we need to identify incorrect statement. So again, you can see third statement is incorrect here, right? Right answer is option D, and you can see here that explanation is already visible here. So, but yes, still I think you will really be able to identify and to see that what are the different details that we need to cover from these reports. ठीक है, चाहे यहाँ पर आपके लिए जो स्टेटमेंट्स हैं उसके एक्सप्लेनेशन है उसको मेंशन किया है, बट यस स्टिल वी नीड टू सी दैट. And I can see in the chat box people are saying option A is the right answer. Guys, why option A is the right answer? See, very important learning for all of you here. In the question, we are required to identify incorrect statement here, right? And you, all of you are really able to see that yes, there is statement 3 which is incorrect here, but still we are answering option A as the right answer. Please tell me the good reason for this. What is causing you to answer option A as the right answer? Yes, option A, in the option A, statement 1 and 2 are correct. Yes. But in the question, my dear friends, we need to understand what we are required to identify. We are required to identify incorrect statement here. A very important learning for all of you. ठीक है? So यही चीजें आप सीखते हो जब आप इन सेशंस को ज्वाइन करते हो. Even the answer is before you, still we are not able to answer the question correctly. ठीक है? तो यहाँ पर जोश में नहीं, होश में क्वेश्चंस को आंसर करना है. ठीक है? So do not worry. ऐसा हो जाता है, बट यस इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि क्वेश्चंस के कीवर्ड्स को हम पिकअप करें अच्छे से. ठीक है, इट्स ओके वी डू मिस्टेक्स, बट वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज वी मस्ट लर्न फ्रॉम दोज मिस्टेक्स. I hope that yes, you guys will be taking a good lesson from this part. Now let's move on to the next question. So as per the financial stability report December 24, what was the provisioning coverage ratio of primary urban cooperative banks? तो प्राइमरी अर्बन कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स की प्रोविजनिंग कवरेज रेशियो क्या थी सितंबर 2024 के अंदर? ठीक है, सो यस you guys were hurrying. We are not required to hurry in the examination. Yes, in the RBI exam, when we talk in the 25 minutes, we are required to solve 80 questions, but we are not required to answer all the 80 questions, right? So we have to make sure whatever we are answering properly. Okay. So here, when we talk about this question, number 27, yes, option A is the right answer. That is 67.5%. Absolutely right. 67.5% is the right answer. So again, Nitya, Aditya, Kshitij have given the right answer. Now let's move on to the next question, number 28. So what was the credit growth rate of NBFCs in 2024? तो क्रेडिट ग्रोथ रेट 2024 के अंदर एनबीएफसी का कितना था? इट वाज 16%। ठीक है। एंड देयर वाज अ स्लो डाउन विच वाज सीन इन टर्म्स ऑफ एनबीएफसीज। और ये कौन से एनबीएफसीज के अंदर था? हम सभी जानते हैं कि कुछ लेयर्स के अंदर एनबीएफसीज को डिवाइड किया जाता है, लाइक अपर लेयर, मिडिल लेयर, लोअर लेयर, राइट? तो यहां पर जो अपर लेयर है उसके अंदर स्लो डाउन को यहां पर ऑब्जर्व किया गया इन दिस पर्टिकुलर as per this financial stability report. And yes, option E is the right answer. So, my dear friends, let me tell you that still, if there is someone who has not covered this report और जिसके लिए डॉक्यूमेंट काफी हैवी लग रहा है कवर करना, तो आपको पहले क्या करना चाहिए? आपको पहले ये सेशन देखना चाहिए जो हमने यूट्यूब पर लिया है। इस सेशन को आप देखिए, इस लिंक पर क्लिक करके आप डायरेक्टली सेशन पर पहुंचेंगे। दिस सेशन इज अ फाइनेंशियल स्टेबिलिटी रिपोर्ट सेशन for December 2024 report which was released. And when you will be watching this session, you will be able to understand this important key aspects of the report, and that will make it easier for you to read out the document as well. Okay, ji? I hope that this part is clear to all of you. And my dear friends, let me tell you that there were some other reports as well, but we will be taking up those reports in our next reports revision session, right? So there was a report on trends and progress of banking in India as well, which was released in the month of in the month of December. But do not worry, we will be covering that particular report through MCQs in the revision session when we will be taking the February part. Okay? So I hope guys that all of you are really very much clear, and let me tell you that all the most important reports which were there in the month of January, we have already discussed those reports across the important dimensions in our today's session. So that basically tells you that yes, this was the end of this particular session. ठीक है? So my dear friends, I believe कि आप सभी ने आज के सेशन से काफी कुछ सीखा है। आपकी एक अच्छी रिवीजन हुई आज के सेशन से, और आपको पता चला है कि क्या आपका प्रिपरेशन लेवल है इस सेशन के अंदर इन टर्म्स ऑफ रिपोर्ट्स प्रिपरेशन। ठीक है? If you have scored good marks in this particular session, so definitely it is really great part for you. And what you are required to do, you are just required to keep up with the momentum of your preparation. नाउ द नेक्स्ट पार्ट इज, अगर आपके मार्क्स कम है तो यहां पर यू आर नॉट रिक्वायर्ड टू पैनिक। पैनिक नहीं होना है बिल्कुल भी। ठीक है? आपके मार्क्स कम आए हैं, डू नॉट वरी, आई विल बी वर्किंग ऑन द लूप होल्स, आई विल बी असेसिंग द डिटेल्स विच आई मिस इन दिस सेशन। किन डिटेल्स को मैंने इनकरेक्टली मार्क किया, क्यों इनकरेक्टली मार्क किया, क्या क्या मेरे लेसन्स हैं जो मैं टेक अवे ले सकता हूं इस पर्टिकुलर सेशन से। अपार्ट फ्रॉम द इंफॉर्मेशन, द एक्सपीरियंस एंड योर एनालिसिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम दिस पार्ट। ठीक है? तो ये चीजें आपको करनी है, और आपके लिए मैंडेटरी है कि आप मुझे अपने स्कोर्स बताएंगे कमेंट सेक्शन के अंदर। This is basically to induce accountability in you, so that you can definitely, when you will be posting your score in the comment section, honestly, you will see that, okay, this time in this revision session, I am posting my score that I have scored only 10 or 14 out of 28. But when the next session will be taken of the reports, I will definitely scoring around 85 to 90% in the session. ठीक है? तो ये हमारा टारगेट होना चाहिए। इस तरीके से हम स्लोली और ग्रेजुअली खुद को इंप्रूव करेंगे। So I can see in the chat box there are some queries here. So yes, Aditya, we will be doing revision of RBI reports too. Do not worry. जैसे कि आज हमने एक रिपोर्ट को कवर किया है on the financial stability report. In the upcoming part, we will be covering the remaining reports as well. So do not worry about it. So next Thursday, which session will be there? So my dear friends, we told you that we will be covering all the tabs that we are providing to you in the courses, right? और बेसिकली उनके जो इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें हम उनको कवर करेंगे। तो अभी तक हम स्कीम्स को कवर कर चुके हैं, करंट टैब कवर कर चुके हैं, रिपोर्ट्स टैब कवर कर चुके हैं। तो अगर आपने सेशन नहीं देखा है पुराना, सो काइंडली गो बैक एंड वॉच दो सेशंस एज वेल। एंड नेक्स्ट थर्सडे, हैप्पी, देयर विल बी अ सेशन, रिवीजन सेशन ऑन द आरबीआई न्यूज टैब, in which Kritika and I will be discussing the important RBI notifications with all of you. ठीक है? So make sure कि जैसे आपने आज का सेशन अटेंड किया है, नेक्स्ट थर्सडे भी आप उस सेशन को डेफिनेटली अटेंड करेंगे at 6 p.m. on Thursday, RBI notification session. So my dear friends, I hope that yes, all the queries are been addressed here. So Chaudhary, do not worry, जो लाइव बैच की डिटेल है आप डेफिनेटली आप एक बार hello@edutap.co.in पर अपनी क्वेरी को मेल कर दीजिए। यू विल बी रिसीविंग द रिप्लाई फ्रॉम आवर टीम रिगार्डिंग द लाइव बैच ऑफ RBI grade B officer, right? So I hope guys that this session was really useful and fruitful to all of you and you have really taken a good takeaway from this session. अगर आपको सेशन अच्छा लगा, you can definitely mention about that. But the most important thing is, guys, your analysis and your honest reply in the comment section. What was your score out of 28 in this particular session? ठीक है, I want all of you to tell me your scores in the comment section. Now, my dear friends, we will be meeting you in the next session. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy. Wish you all happy learning.